4th of September 2024, the U.S. Department of the Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control, OFAC, designated 10 individuals and 2 entities as part of a coordinated U.S. government response to Moscow's malign influence efforts targeting the 2024 U.S. presidential election. Russian state-sponsored actors have long used a variety of tools, such as generative artificial intelligence, AI, deepfakes and disinformation, in an attempt to undermine confidence in the United States election processes and institutions. Beginning in early 2024, executives at RT, Russia's state-funded news media outlet, began an even more nefarious effort to covertly recruit unwitting American influencers in support of their malign influence campaign. RT used a front company to disguise its own involvement or the involvement of the Russian government in content meant to influence U.S. audiences. Today's action underscores the U.S. government's ongoing efforts to hold state-sponsored actors accountable for activities that aim to deteriorate public trust in our institutions, said Secretary of the Treasury Janet L. Yellen. Treasury will not waver in our commitment to safeguarding our democratic principles and the integrity of our election systems. Today's designations complement law enforcement actions taken by the Department of Justice and the Department of State's designation of the Rossiya Segodnya Media Group and 5 of its subsidiaries, RIA Novosti, RT, TV Novosti, Rupli, and Sputnik, as foreign missions, steps to impose visa restrictions, and release of a Rewards for Justice, RFJ, reward offer of up to $10 million relating to information pertaining to foreign interference in a U.S. election. Sanctions targeting Russian propagandists and RT. RT, formerly Russia Today, is a Russian state-funded news outlet that began broadcasting internationally in 2005. In 2017, RT registered as an agent of a foreign government in the United States. Beginning in early 2024, RT executives began an effort to covertly recruit unwitting American influencers. RT used a front company to disguise its own involvement or the involvement of the Russian government. Margarita Simonovna Simonyan is the editor-in-chief of RT and a central figure in Russian government malign influence efforts. She allowed the operations of a front company to occur under the cover of RT. Elizaveta Yurievna Brodskaya is the deputy editor-in-chief of RT, who has reported to Russian President Putin and other government officials. Anton Sergeyevich Anisimov is an RT deputy editor-in-chief, who conducts activities on behalf of the Russian Federal Security Service, FSB. Andrei Vladimirovich Kiyashko is the deputy director of the RT English-language information broadcasting and is responsible for updating Russian government officials and providing an overview of RT's operations. Konstantin Kalashnikov is RT's digital media projects manager, who, in early 2022, worked with Kiyashko. In mid-2023, Brodskaya and Kiyashko implemented a large-scale influence operation for RT on U.S. social media with the intent of obscuring RT's connection to the content meant to influence online audiences. Elena Mihailovna Afanasieva is an employee of RT's digital media projects department and reports to Kalashnikov. Starting in early 2024, Afanasieva covertly interacted with prominent U.S. social media influencers under the cover of a fake persona, purporting to be an employee at a U.S. company to obscure RT's and the Russian government's involvement. The pro-Kremlin hacktivist group rebranded is composed of active and former Russian intelligence officers. Alexei Alexeyevich Garaschenko is the head of rebranded and was an FSB officer at the time he started leading the group. Garaschenko directly interacts with members of the Russian intelligence and security services, members of the Russian presidential administration, and employees from RT. Anastasia Igorevna Yermoshkina is an affiliate of Garaschenko. Alexander Vitalyevich Nezhentsev works with Garaschenko and is an administrator and developer of cyber tools used by the FSB. Nezhentsev also leads a team focusing on developing new tools that can be used in the surveillance of information data files. Today, OFAC designated Simonyan, Brodskaya, Anisimov, Kiyashko, Kalashnikov, Afanasieva, Garaschenko, Yermoshkina, and Nezhentsev pursuant to EO 14024 for being owned or controlled, or having acted or purported to act for or on behalf of, directly or indirectly, the government of the Russian Federation. Has this content been useful to you? Would you like to see more research and translation content from Beefeater Fella? If you do, and you want to stay up to date with my work, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel now. It takes just a few seconds and it's free. This is really important. Your support and recommendations can make a big difference to the channel. Sanctions implications. As a result of today's action, all property and interests in property of the designated persons described above that are in the United States or in the possession or control of U.S. persons are blocked and must be reported to OFAC. The history of Putin's propaganda machine known as Russia Today, rebranded as RT. Kremlin spent $1.9 billion on propaganda in 2022 to mask the failure of Vladimir Putin's failed attempt to seize and destroy Ukraine. In 2023, Russia officially allocated $1.6 billion on propaganda to spread pro-Kremlin narratives inside and outside the country. The majority of funds for media, over 51%, was again dedicated to three main agencies: VGTRK, RT, former Russia Today, and Rossiya Segodnya. The propaganda outlets of the Russian Federation promote views, perceptions and agendas of the indicted war criminal, Vladimir Putin's warped reality, using strategic propaganda media arms of the criminal regime. The media include state-run outlets and online technologies, and may involve using Soviet-style active measures as an element of modern Russian political warfare. Russia Today, RT, is just one of the state-funded international news networks, headquartered in Moscow, Russia. Its main office is located in the same building as one of Russia's top three state propaganda agencies, including TASS. It was launched in 2005 under the name Russia Today, with the aim of presenting news from Vladimir Putin's Russian perspective and given the aim of whitewashing Russian interests abroad. RT initially began as a television network, but has since expanded to include digital platforms, such as a website and social media channels. The network broadcasts in several languages, including English, Spanish, French, Arabic, and German, and has a global audience. Russia Today was rebranded as RT in 2009 in an effort to sanitize the brand and create distance between the broadcaster and Putin's control of the state propaganda wing. The idea for the network came from Vladimir Putin, who was then the president of Russia, who saw it as a way to improve Russia's image abroad and to counter what he perceived as biased coverage of Russia in the Western media. RT began broadcasting in English, with a focus on international news, but it has since expanded to include channels in Spanish, Arabic, and French. The network has a presence in over 100 countries and is available to more than 700 million people worldwide. In a 2005 interview with U.S. government-owned external broadcaster Voice of America, the Russian-Israeli blogger Anton Nosik said the creation of RT smacks of Soviet-style propaganda campaigns. Pascal Bonnemore, the head of the European Department of Reporters Without Borders, called the newly announced network another step of the state to control information. By the end of 2008, Lev Gudkov, based on the Levada Center polling data, pointed out the near disappearance of public opinion as a socio-political institution in contemporary Russia and its replacement with the state propaganda. In 2009, Luke Harding, then the Moscow correspondent of The Guardian, described RT's advertising campaign in the United Kingdom as an ambitious attempt to create a new post-Soviet global propaganda empire. According to Lev Gudkov, the director of the Levada Center, Russia's most well-respected polling organization, Putin's Russia's propaganda is aggressive and deceptive, worse than anything I witnessed in the Soviet Union. RT has been criticized for its biased coverage and promotion of Russian propaganda, particularly on controversial issues such as the conflict in Syria and the annexation of Crimea. The network has been accused of spreading misinformation and fake news, and has been accused of being a tool for Russian influence operations in other countries. Following Russia's 2014 annexation of Crimea, a significant increase in Russian propaganda was noted by NATO. In February 2017, a fabricated audio recording of NATO Secretary Jens Stoltenberg supposedly interacting with Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko was published by Russian news website Life.ru. The supposed voice of Poroshenko was revealed to be Russian pranksters. Russia has been comparing Ukrainian government forces in Donbass to members of ISIS. Political scholar Nikolai Kozanov has claimed that Russia has used propaganda to convey nationalistic as well as pro-Assad messages during the Syrian civil war. Kozanov claims that Russia has made an effort through propaganda to paint Russia and Syria as a stable force, in the struggle against instability caused by the Americans and terrorism supported by the U.S. regional partners. RT and Sputnik news agency are also spreading false information. In the downing of Malaysia Airlines Flight 17, the Bellingcat website of Elliot Higgins gave evidence about the manipulation of satellite images released by the Russian Ministry of Defence, which was used by RT and Sputnik news agency based in Edinburgh, Scotland. RT has also spread disinformation around the involvement of Russia and its efforts to interfere in the 2016 US presidential election. RT has seen a slight decrease in funding compared to last year. Moreover, sanctions imposed on Russia after the invasion of Ukraine caused the agency to discontinue broadcasting in the EU, Canada, the US, and the UK, and close selected offices. On the other hand, the Kremlin is looking for partners in other markets. RT is strengthening its presence in Serbia and has plans to open an office in Africa. So when you read any article from RT, TASS and any other state-funded media organization, do so in the knowledge that the message and narrative are all carefully designed to fulfill strategic narratives and the whitewashing of a criminal regime, led by an indicted war criminal, Vladimir Putin. Has this content been useful to you? Would you like to see more research and translation content from Beefeater Fella? If you do, and you want to stay up to date with my work, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel now. It takes just a few seconds and it's free. This is really important. Your support and recommendations can make a big difference to the channel.